understand what is the meaning of derivative of a derivative. So next section is 4.7 on second and high order derivative. हमने जो बात करी है that is called as the first derivative, जो हम बोल रहे हैं that dy by dx or y prime and so on is first derivative of function where y is equal to some function of x. You can also take second derivative, meaning derivative of this derivative, which is that you take d by dx of the derivative. को हम बोलते हैं सेकेंड ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव, जिसमें आप डेरिवेटिव का विच इज y प्राइम और dy by dx, इसको आप एक और बार इसका डेरिवेटिव ले रहे हो. इसको इस तरीके से हम रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं. यू कैन ऑल्सो रिप्रेजेंट इट एज y डबल प्राइम और f डबल प्राइम x. So instead of one dash in the superscript, you will have two dash here, or you can write it as this. This can be further written as d2y dx square. In a way, आप क्या कर रहे हो यहाँ पे dy by dx का फिर से डेरिवेटिव ले रहे हो, तो d दो बारी आ रहा है इसलिए आप d स्क्वायर लिख सकते हो, dx दो बारी आ रहा है आप dx स्क्वायर लिख सकते हो. बट ऑब्वियसली आप यहाँ पे dy by dx का स्क्वायर नहीं कर रहे हो. y double prime is not equal to y prime whole square. That is incorrect. That is not what you're doing. What इस नोटेशन का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप dy by dx का स्क्वायर कर रहे हो. इस नोटेशन का मतलब है कि आप dy by dx को दोबारा से डिफरेंशिएट कर रहे हो. Also note that when you write it in this form, आप जो ये सुपरस्क्रिप्ट है यहाँ पे जो 2 है वो d के आगे लगा रहे हो, ना कि y के आगे. आप ये नहीं लिख रहे हो. This is incorrect. This is the correct notation of the second order derivative, where you take the derivative of the derivative. So once you have calculated y prime for a specific function y is equal to fx, once you have calculated y prime, आप इस y prime का दोबारा से जब derivative लोगे with respect to x, you will get the second order derivative. So first order derivative का क्या मतलब होता है? That for a very very small change in x, what is the change in y, right? That tells you, dy by dx tells you this relationship. But what do you think will be represented by second order derivative? If I have to calculate the derivative, which is the first order derivative, then I take a point, I draw a tangent passing through that point, and the slope of this tangent is nothing but the derivative. So derivative आपको basically क्या बताता है? Slope of the curve at that particular time. What do you think is d square y by dx square in terms of the visual representation, और generally d square y by dx square का या second order derivative का क्या, ये आपको क्या बताता है? आप सबको पता है कि dy by dx आपको क्या बताता है. अगर मैं बोलूं dy by dx पॉजिटिव है तो इसका क्या मतलब होता है? This could be a linear curve, it could be ऐसे भी इंक्रीज हो सकता है, राइट? दिस इज ऑल्सो अपवर्ड. अगर मैं कोई कर्व ऐसे ड्रॉ करूं तो ये भी अपवर्ड है. तीनों कर्व्स, दिस इज कर्व ए, दिस इज कर्व बी, दिस इज कर्व सी, तीनों कर्व्स में dy by dx होगा पॉजिटिव बिकॉज द स्लोप इज इंक्रीजिंग. What is different amongst these curves is the second derivative. First derivative tells you the slope of the curve, meaning that for a very small change in x, what is the change in y? Second order derivative आपको बताता है कि slope किस तरीके से change हो रही है हर point पे. So अगर आप यहाँ पे notice करो तो अगर मैं यहाँ एक point draw करूं and I draw a tangent, then I draw a point here and I draw a tangent. दोनों ही cases में स्लोप पॉजिटिव है बिकॉज अपवर्ड ये मिल रहा है मुझे टेंजेंट. dy by dx इज पॉजिटिव. बट इफ आई कंपेयर पॉइंट 1 टू पॉइंट 2, यहां पे स्लोप की वैल्यू और यहां पे स्लोप की वैल्यू, इज द वैल्यू ऑफ द स्लोप इंक्रीजिंग और डिक्रीजिंग? 1 पे टेंजेंट स्टीपर है, पॉइंट 2 पे टेंजेंट फ्लैट हो रहा है. मतलब आपका जो स्लोप है पॉजिटिव है लेकिन स्लोप की वैल्यू डिक्रीज हो रही है. इन दोनों में डिफरेंस है. dy by dx is positive, this is positive, but dy by dx is decreasing. by dx is decreasing or dy by dx is increasing, this information is being given by the second order derivative. तो second order derivative आपको बताता है कि for a small change in x, what is the change in the value of the slope? If I compare this curve, look at curve C and I take 2 points, point 1 and point 2. Point 1 पे मैंने एक tangent draw करा and point 2 पे मैंने एक tangent draw करा. Dx is positive, this is also increasing, this is also increasing. But when I move from point 1 to point 2, x is increasing and I see that the value of the slope is now increasing. यहाँ पे आपका टेंजेंट फ्लैट है, यहाँ पे टेंजेंट स्टीप है, सो आई नोटिस दैट द वैल्यू ऑफ द स्लोप इज इंक्रीजिंग. बट एट बोथ पॉइंट्स in all of these three curves A, B and C, dy by dx is positive, but dy by dx is decreasing for curve A and dy by dx is increasing for curve. Notice I am talking about increase in the slope and not increase in y. There's a difference, right? And I want you to be very, very clear with this difference, that when I talk about dy by dx, I am talking about the change in y with a unit change in x. ठीक है? Change in y with a unit change in x. और यहाँ पे अगर मैं बोलूं कि dy by dx पॉजिटिव है, तो मैं उस पॉजिटिव को 3 तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट कर सकती हूँ. यहाँ पे पॉजिटिव इस तरीके से भी हो सकता है, कर्व A, पॉजिटिव कर्व C के तरीके से भी हो सकता है, और एक लिनियर लाइन भी हो सकती है जहां पे स्लोप पॉजिटिव आएगी. तीनों केसेस में dy by dx विल बी पॉजिटिव. लेकिन आप केस A में, कर्व A में देख रहे हो कि स्लोप जो है, when you increase the value of x, then the slope is actually decreasing. ठीक है? और अगर आप कर्व C को देखोगे तो you will notice that the slope is decreasing. So in a way I can say that for curve A, d square y by dx square will be negative. So when the slope is decreasing, then the second order derivative will be negative. So for curve A, d square y by dx square will be negative, and for curve B, d square y by dx square will be positive. Unit change in x, what is the change in y? This is given by dy by dx. For a unit change in x, what is the change in dy by dx is given by d square y by dx square. Say you have a function y is equal to a into k raised to the power alpha. आप सेकेंड ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव आपको अगर निकालना है तो सबसे पहले आप फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव निकालोगे इसका. Now that you know all the rules, you can directly apply the power rule. A is a constant, capital A is a constant, k is a variable. Then when I have the first order derivative, I can take the second order derivative. इसको again मैं k के respect में differentiate करूंगी, and I will get a into alpha minus 1, capital K raised to the power. So I will have a into alpha minus 1. This is how I can calculate the second order derivative. So calculation is not a problem at all. Now, similar to the second order derivative, you can also calculate third order derivative, which is when you take the derivative of the second order derivative. And similarly, you can also take the fourth order derivative. आप किसी एक फंक्शन को multiple times differentiate कर सकते हो, provided the function is defined, provided the function is differentiable that number of times. So the fourth order derivative would be what? D by dx of d cube y by dx cube. To generalize, because obviously अगर suppose आपको किसी का sixth derivative लेना है तो आप यहाँ पे सिर्फ prime नहीं add करोगे, dash नहीं करोगे, इसको आप generalize करके इस तरीके से लिख सकते हो. y superscript में brackets and n, this represents the nth order derivative of the function fx. Remember that you have to write this number in closed brackets, because if you write something like this, then you might get confused with whether this is a power or whether this is a derivative. तो जब आप डेरिवेटिव ले रहे हो, जब आप nth ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव ले रहे हो, so make sure that you put the number in brackets. So say I have to take the sixth order derivative of this function y is equal to fx, then I will write that I am calculating the sixth order derivative and this is how I will represent it. So you can basically take nth derivatives of the function at a particular point x. But you also need to make sure that the function is differentiable that many number of times. If suppose it is quite possible कि f of n x does not exist, जरूरी नहीं है कि आप सारे derivatives calculate करोगे और सब exist करेंगे. So what do you say if suppose this exists, if nth derivative of fx exists, then we say that the function is n times differentiable. Function is n times a particular point x naught. So say you have f3x, third derivative exist करता है, लेकिन say the fourth derivative doesn't exist. ठीक है, ये exist नहीं करता है. Then you will say that this function is 3 times differentiable at a particular point x naught. So this is how you define the differentiability of a particular function. A function is n times differentiable, मतलब आप इस function को n times differentiate कर सकते हो. Suppose f of n x is also continuous at point x naught. If it is continuous at point x naught, then we say that this function is n times continuously differentiable. जब आप क्वेश्चंस देखोगे तो कई बारी फंक्शंस को इस लैंग्वेज में लिखा होता है कि दिस फंक्शन इज n टाइम्स कॉन्टिन्यूसली डिफरेंशिएबल. तो आपको समझ जाना है कि इसका मतलब क्या है. एग्जैक्टली कॉन्टिन्यूटी का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या होता है, कॉन्टिन्यूटी क्या होती है, ये हम आगे वाले चैप्टर्स में पढ़ेंगे. बट फॉर नाउ जस्ट रिमेंबर दीज terms and this language. We will begin with chapter 5, which is an extension of differentiation, and we will read about different concepts related to differentiation, how to differentiate different kinds of functions, where to use the formula, what are the different kinds of we have already read about certain formulas, but in certain complicated looking functions, how do we apply these formula. So that's precisely the gist of chapter number 5. Let's look at the first section, which is generalized power rule. Now we have read about the power rule in the previous chapter, which was if you have y is equal to x raised to the power n, then dy by dx is n into x raised to the power n minus 1. Generalized power rule का मतलब है कि suppose instead of x you have some function of x and this is raised to the power n, right? So now instead of x you have some function of x and that is raised to the power n. Then you can apply the generalized power rule here and state that dy by dx will be equal to n into gx raised to the power n minus 1 multiplied by derivative of called as the generalized power rule. Instead of x, if you have y as some function of gx and you have to take, and then gx is raised to the power n, you have to take the derivative of y with respect to x, then you will apply the power rule to gx and then multiply this with first derivative of gx. So take a simple example. Say y is equal to x raised to the power 3 plus x raised to the power 2 whole raised to the power 50. Right? Now what do you see here? You see that you have 50 is raised, 50 is the exponent of this entire term, and this term is basically some function of x. तो ये यहाँ पे जो function written है वो इस form में written है, and we can apply the power rule here by first applying the power rule to gx. So what would it be? 50 into gx. Gx को मैं यहाँ लिख रही हूँ x raised to the power 3 plus x raised to the power 2 raised to the power 50 minus 1, which is 49, and then multiplied by the derivative of gx. I will apply the sum rule here. Take the derivative of this, add it to the derivative of this. So this will be 3 into x square. Now I am applying the power rule here. This one is applied directly on x. Plus 2x. So this is just an extension of the power rule, where we are saying that when you have y as some function of x, instead of directly written in the form of x, when you have it in some functional form of x, then you use this formula. Now you can also write this generalized power rule in Leibniz notation. And what is this notation? So say these are just, manipulation of the same thing. This was being introduced by Leibniz, and hence the name Leibniz notation. So say you have u as equal to g of x, u is a function of x, then y is equal to u raised to the power a, y by dx is equal to a into u raised to the power a minus 1 into du by dx. On to section 5.2, introducing composite functions and chain rule. Now, what are composite functions and how do we differentiate composite functions? Okay, now say you have y as a function of u, y is a function of u, and further u is a function of x. In this situation, we say that y is a composite function of x. y x का function नहीं है, y u का function है, लेकिन u जो है x का function है, hence y becomes a composite function of x. So if we know the rates of changes of if we know dy by du and du by dx, so we basically know that when x changes by a small amount, how much would u change? And we also know कि अगर u change होता है by a small amount, then y में क्या change होगा? Then from this information we can calculate dy by dx, which is what is the change in y for a small change in x. ये कैसे पता लगाएंगे? x के change की वजह से u का change हो रहा है, and this we know how much would u change for a unit change in x, and we also know that for a unit change in y, for a unit change in u, how much is y changing? We know this, dy by du, and this is du by dx. So from this chain, you see that there is a chain reaction. x की वजह से u में change हो रहा है, u की वजह से y में change हो रहा है. So you see a chain reaction. From this chain, you can calculate that x के change की वजह से ultimately y में कितना change हो रहा है. And we say this gives birth to the chain rule that dy by dx is the product of dy by du into du by dx. Right? This is called as the chain. If y is a differentiable function of u and u is a differentiable function of x, then we can say that y is a differentiable function of x, and this holds true. For example, suppose you have x function of p, where x refers to quantity demanded of some commodity and p refers to the prices. ठीक है? And I'm saying that the quantity demanded is a function of price. Now suppose that these prices are not constant. ठीक है? These prices are further a function of another variable. तो prices जो है time के साथ vary कर रही हैं. I want to know what is the change in quantity with the change in time. What am I saying? I'm saying that quantity demanded is a function of prices. Prices further are function of time. I want to know what is the change in quantity demanded for a unit change in time. I will apply the chain rule. यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? This is the same as composite function. X is a function of p and p is a function of t. So I apply the chain rule and I can say that dx by dt is nothing but dx by dp into dp by dt, right? So when time changes, there will be some change in price. When you move from one time period to another time period, the prices will change, and at this new price, the quantity will change. So we can say that with the unit change in time, this is the change in quantity, and that tells you, that is given by dx by dt, and that is the meaning of composite function. And to differentiate composite functions, we use chain rule. You can extend this to many more functions. I mean, यहाँ पे हमने सिर्फ composite function लिया है. When we are saying that there are two variables, you can also have situations where, say, x is some function of u, then u is some function of v, and ultimately v is some function of t. And I am saying that I can say that x is a composite function of t because x is related to u is related to v, and v is further related to t. So I can calculate dx by dt by dx by du into du by dv into dv by dt. So the idea is that you can extend it further by n number of functions. You just have to apply the chain rule consecutively. Let's move on to the next section, which is 5.3, implicit differentiation. When do we use it and how do we solve for the derivatives when we have implicit functions, or when we have to use implicit differentiation, is what we are going to understand in this section. Primarily used when you have functions which are defined implicitly. So for example, if I give you an equation, this is called as an implicit function. Why? Because यहाँ पे आप दो variables introduce कर रहे हो, x and y, but you are saying that आप explicitly y is equal to function of x नहीं define कर रहे हो. You're not saying that y is equal to so and so, although you can convert this implicit function into an explicit function by taking square both sides and then take y on one side and x on the other side. You can convert this implicit function into an explicit function, but if you are given a function like this, then this is an implicit function because you are putting both the variables in an equation. And sometimes, although for this example you can convert it into an explicit function, sometimes you can't really separate the two variables out and convert it into an explicit function. And in those cases, specifically when you will do this in functions of more than one variable, which will come in your next semester, you will understand why this concept of implicit differentiation is so important. Because sometimes you have certain variables so intriguingly defined amongst themselves that it is difficult, without using complex mathematics, it is difficult to break them out or separate them out. So the idea of implicit function is that you have two variables defined in an equation, and where implicitly you define one variable as a function of the other variable. You don't define them explicitly in this form, y is equal to f of x. You define them implicitly in a form of an equation, and for such cases we use implicit differentiation. So what I'll do is I will just replace y with f of x, because I am saying that y is implicitly a function of x, and then I will just apply the chain rule on both. I'll take the derivative both sides and I'll apply the chain rule on the left side, which will give me what? So I'm taking the derivative of the first term, 1 into under root f of x, plus second term I'm taking the derivative of this one, which will be x into 1 by 2 f of x into f prime x. Derivative of the constant will be equal to 0. I'll now then rearrange these terms and I can write it as x by 2 square root f of x into f prime x is equal to minus root f of x. This equation I do get a term which has f prime x, which is what I'm supposed to find. If this function was defined explicitly, y was a function of x, then to calculate dy by dx, I had to calculate f prime x, and by solving this equation, just by applying the chain rule, I get a term where I have f prime x. Now I can separate this term out and calculate the value of f prime x, which will come out to be, this will get cross multiplied, so I will have root fx will become fx, so minus 2 f of x divided by x, and that's the derivative of fx or y. So for such functions where the variables are defined implicitly in the form of equation, you calculate the derivative by assuming one variable as the function of the other variable. So you assume y as a function of x, and then just apply the chain rule and start solving the question. And once you get the term f prime x, you just single that out, you take that out, and calculate the value for f prime x. You have a function. I'm not going to solve this example in entirety. You can solve this, but I'm just trying to give you examples of implicit functions. So you have x plus y raised to the power 3 is equal to y raised to the power 5 minus x square plus 2y, right? You have to find dy by dx. Now again, what do you see? This is a kind of an implicit function. Why? Because if you try and convert this function into this form, y is equal to f of x, you might not be able to do that in like few steps, because you might, so if you take y on one side, you will have y raised to the power 5 minus y raised to the power 3 plus 2y, and you can take x on the left side. It's difficult to sort of, convert this function into this form. You have y raised to the power 5, and you will have to sort of apply higher factorization methods to break this down into this kind of function. So this is an example of an implicit function, and to solve this, we can still find out the derivative of y with respect to x by using the same method as we did in the previous case, where we just try and calculate, differentiate each side of the equation by considering y as a function of x. So we will assume y to be some function of x. We don't know the exact form because we don't know the explicit form. We just know that y is some function of x, and then we will just apply the chain rule and solve for dy by dx. So I will just change this equation into this form and take the derivative both sides and solve for f prime x. You can solve this and check whether you get the answer for f prime x or not. Now, one example that I wanted to discuss is example 5.9. This is quite important from the exam perspective, because these are exactly the kind of questions that could be asked to you in your exam, which is that you are given a demand function saying that the equilibrium can be found by saying that demand is equal to supply. So I can say that A minus B. यहाँ पे you will notice that instead of just the usual demand curve, usually हम demand curve कैसे लिखते हैं? Demand is equal to A minus B P, right? Here you notice that P में आपने T add करा हुआ है. T is nothing but the tax rate. So in this demand function, we are imposing a tax per unit of consumption on the consumer. So we are imposing a tax on the consumer, and that's why you see P plus T. Instead of P prices, the consumer is now paying P plus T. And we say that the equilibrium in this market will be achieved when demand is equal to supply. So A minus B bracket P plus T is equal to alpha plus beta P. Part A of the question is asking you equation 2, which is this equation, defines prices as a function of tax implicitly. Again, this is an example of an implicit equation. In this case, you might be able to convert this into an explicit function as well, but since we are talking about implicit differentiation, we will solve it through that channel, through that route. So this is an implicit function. P and T are implicitly defined. You have to compute dP by dt by using implicit differentiation, and then you have to interpret the sign. dP by dt calculate करने के बाद, again calculation part is simple, वो आपको enough practice है कि आप solve कर सकते हो. You have to interpret the sign of dP by dt. What is the sign? And then interpret
the sign of dp by dt. Then the question is also asking you check the result by first solving equation 2 for p and then finding dp by dt explicitly. As I just told you कि आप इस फंक्शन को explicit फंक्शन में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो बिकॉज यहाँ पे कुछ इतने ज्यादा एक्सपोनेंशियल फॉर्म में या पावर फॉर्म में क्वेश्चन नहीं है. जैसे प्रीवियस एग्जाम्पल जो था इसमें करना मुश्किल है, इस केस में एक्सप्लिसिट में कन्वर्ट करना मुश्किल है. यहाँ पे आप कर सकते हो. You just have, this is a linear kind of system, so you can easily convert it. हमें दोनों साइड डेरिवेटिव लेना है with respect to t. p by dt plus 1 is equal to alpha की जगह पे 0 beta into dp by dt. Assume कर लिया हमने that p is some function of t and then we have just solved both sides. यहां से dp by dt निकल सकता है which is minus b by b plus beta. यहां पे इसका साइन क्या है माइनस, तो इसको कैसे इंटरप्रेट करेंगे? सो वी आर सेइंग दैट व्हेन टैक्स इंक्रीजेस, ऑल्दो टैक्स किस पे लग रहा है? कंज्यूमर पे. p क्या है? p इज द प्राइस दैट इज बीइंग पेड टू द सेलर. p is the price of the commodity, p is paid to the seller and t is the tax that is imposed on consumer. तो आपको यहाँ पे क्या एक इकोनॉमिक लर्निंग मिल रही है that अगर टैक्स कंज्यूमर पे बढ़ता है तो उसकी वजह से जो प्राइस सेलर को पे कर रहे हैं वो भी डिक्रीज होगी. सो टैक्स भले ही कंज्यूमर पे लग रहा हो लेकिन उसका जो इम्पैक्ट है वो सेलर पे भी होगा. This is what you are learning from this interpretation here. They are also trying to solve for p plus t. p plus t is the price that is being paid by the consumer. अगर आप इसका डेरिवेटिव लो with respect to t, then you will get dp by dt. हमें ऑलरेडी पता है माइनस b अपॉन b प्लस बीटा एंड देन प्लस 1 बिकॉज यू विल हैव dt by dt. इसको आप सॉल्व करोगे तो यू विल गेट बीटा अपॉन स्मॉल b प्लस बीटा विच इज ग्रेटर देन 0. सो यू फाइंड आउट दैट d by dt of p plus t is between 0 and 1. So we can say that the consumer price increases because of the change in tax rate. The consumer price increases, but increases by less than the increase in tax because it is less than 1. तो ये हम क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं कि अगर टैक्स भले ही इंटायरली कंज्यूमर पे लग रहा है, एंड दिस इज समथिंग जो कि आप माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स में पढ़ोगे एंड यू कैन वेरीफाई कि जब आप इसको ग्राफिकली भी सॉल्व करोगे तब आप देखोगे कि टैक्स चाहे कंज्यूमर पे लग रहा हो लेकिन उसका जो बर्डन है वो दोनों सेलर और कंज्यूमर विटनेस करते हैं, फेस करते हैं. दैट इज व्हाट यू आर प्रूविंग न्यूमेरिकली एज वेल.